Okay, so this section is going to be for Mac users and Windows users. So both can run Android simulations. Now, of course, after you complete all the steps, you can start with this one. So Android development environment. So this one, it's pretty much the same for Windows and pretty much the same for Mac. Notice that if I just keep changing, I'm just going to do it, going to duplicate and go to React Native. On this one, we are on, for example, Mac. And Android, I'm going to go and change this one to Windows and Android. Now, if I scroll down and put it right here, I'm going to go here and we can see that pretty much we get the same documentation. You know, it's pretty much the same. All right, so I'm just going to close it. And the first thing we need to do is to download and install the Android Studio. So if you click right here in the documentation, I've already got it installed, opened, but yeah, I'm going to open it again. So of course, you're going to go to the download page, and it will give you the download, the download. So you will need to download it for Mac or for Windows, depending on which operating system you are. You just need to click on download. Of course, I agree. And of course, I've got everything installed, but I will need to uninstall everything and reinstall it again just to show you, because this one, it's not a very common installation. We need to do a lot of things. For example, after we install it, we just need to check this one is there, this one is there, check the other ones, and we need to do, all this configuration. So again, if I just, just show you the documentation, not show you how to do it on the actual application when we install, it's gonna be a little bit hard for you. So I'm just gonna download. And after everything gets downloaded, I'm gonna put it here, maybe on downloads, whatever. I'm gonna download it, and then I'm gonna install it, and we're gonna go together, of course, step by step on the installation. So I'm gonna wait until this is done, and I'll be right back. Alright, so everything got installed. So now if you're watching this at the top, this doesn't mean that it's downloading. So when the download is done, of course you will need to open it. And if you're a Mac user, you're gonna get a DMG. And if you're a Windows user, of course, you're gonna get that .exe. So I'm just gonna open right now and try to install this again. Now, maybe I closed it. Well, yeah, I closed it. I had to delete everything I got to do right here. Triggered a lot of commands to delete the Android Studio previous version I had, which is one, the same version than this one, but since I'm installing again, I need to, of course, uninstalling. So first, I'm gonna toss everything. In my case, I'm gonna put it in applications. It's gonna take a little while. In your case, if you're maybe you're on a Windows, you will need to, double click on the installer, and it will give you a window that I'm gonna get in a second. So let's give it a minute. It's pretty big. Okay, so once this is done, of course, I'm gonna close this and I'm gonna open the Android Studio, and I'm gonna close this because it's driving me crazy. So let me see if we can get the Android Studio and see what happens. Okay, so if you're a Windows user, a Mac user, you just open. All right, let's see if we can get it. Oh, okay. So let me just bring this down. So just for a second, and this one as well, and this one as well. So you're gonna get, complete the installation, maybe a custom location where you need to import settings. So I had settings from before, but it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna do everything again. So in your case, just maybe do not import settings. So all right. So this is gonna open, and now I'm gonna bring the documentation. All right, so once you get this, it's gonna say, okay, so what do you need to do? Well, in this case, we just do next. Now, choose the type of setup you want for Android. In this case, we want to select the custom, right here, the custom one, and I'm gonna do next. Now, this is of course, what we're gonna use. The Android Studio is just an IDE for Android, right? Just like Visual Studio, but this one, of course, again, it's for Android, so you can select the initial theme. In my case, I like the dark theme with this one, so I'm gonna press next. And okay, this one is actually important. It's gonna say check the components you want to update or install. Now, the ones we kind of need are this ones. They are grayed out because we kind of need them. Now, the other ones you can of course choose if you want to install it. But if you go to the documentation, and let me just try to bring it here because I closed this. There we go. It says select Android SDK. We got it. The SDK platform. We got it. Then the performance. We got it, and then Android virtual device, so we need to check it. And notice that for each thing we are checking right here, the application will go and download things from the web. So the installation, this one, is going to take a little bit, it's going to take a while. You need to download 1.72 gigabytes. All right, so I'm going to click on next. So it's going to go and install all of these things. And I'm gonna be right back whenever this is done. So I'm gonna click next, then select, just leave it on default. I'm gonna click next, and of course finish, and the download will start. Whenever this is done, I'm gonna be right back to keep doing the rest of the installation. Okay, so after everything gets downloaded and installed and everything else, you're gonna get something like this. So the only thing we need to do is to finish right now, and it will give you the the main window of Android Studio. So we need to do a few more things. If you go to the documentation after installing and getting this window, it says right here that we need to go and install more things. Now this one's, of course, we need to install a system image. So it's gonna take like a gigabyte, maybe a little bit more, maybe 2 gigabytes, and we're gonna need to do it. I'm not gonna do it now. We're gonna go to the next section, and we're gonna start creating an application. It's just two tiny sections with Expo. We're gonna grab what we did previously, go to the other one, and we're gonna just create an application. Then, of course, in the other section, we're gonna go back to this one, and we're gonna create an application with this, and I'm gonna go through the installation of this. Now I'm going to install the right here. I'm going to install this behind the scenes, because the installation of this one takes a little while, maybe a little bit more than this installation. So I'm going to do it behind the scenes, but don't worry, I'm going to go through everything that says right here and show you what you will need to install. All right, don't worry about that. And okay, so let's go to the next one. We're going to do an Expo, and then we're going to do a custom native application, and we're going to go through this step and again the steps, and again make sure you have time, because this one takes a little while. All right, so let's go to the next one.